On the high moors, a week's ride east of the capital city of High March, where the Queen's Road frays and tall mountains loom like silent watchers in the near distance, there stands an inn, the Crossroads Rest. It's a place of flickering lanterns and thin ale, where stories are passed quietly by the fire, and travellers come and go before the paths grow thinner and wilder. Most carry little more than dust on their boots and thoughts of someplace else in their hearts. Outside, the evening sky stretches wide and pale, washed in the soft colours of early spring, cool blue brushed with streaks of light grey. The sun is low, casting long shadows across the hills as it sinks slowly toward the horizon. The air is still, the land is hushed, waiting. The interior of the tavern is dim and warm, a hearth smouldering in the back wall, flames low beneath a cluttered mantle. Smoke lingers in the rafters and melds with the scents of boiled root stew and old wood. Lanterns hang from wooden beams, casting pools of orange light across uneven flagstone floors and well-worn wooden benches and tables. About half a dozen patrons occupy the space. In one corner, a trio of merchants leans over a game of dice, laughter low and tired. A cloaked courier dozes lightly near the door, muddy boots stretched toward the hearth. At a small corner table by the fire, a weather-worn-looking dwarf with a white beard and a wide-brimmed hat sits humming quietly to himself, eyes half lost in the glow. So to begin, one by one, players, tell us, where are you when we begin? What do you look like? What are you doing? We'll go left to right, starting with Drimian, and I'll reveal your character portraits as you describe your characters. Go ahead.
Okay, so he's going to be hunched over a bar stool at the bar. His scales are a dull white and fairly calloused. His other draconic features are prominent. You can see a long pair of horns twisting gently behind his head. His tail is thick, like that of a gecko, and it undulates gently, giving him something of a calm demeanour, if you can read draconic body language. He's taller than the man, but not especially tall for a dragonborn. He has something of a lean build, and every bone seems to anchor a clearly defined muscle, of which you can see quite a few, because his robes are open on one side, exposing his shoulder, chest, and back. He's going to lean over the bar and ask the barman, have you any water, any meat?
The barman looks at you. He's swarthy looking, possibly half dwarf man. He looks like he's about 5 feet tall. He has kind of the thinner build of a human, but still with some of that stoutness of a dwarf and a scruffy looking beard. He leans over the bar towards you and he says, well, we wouldn't be much of a tavern if we didn't have water, would we now? And he busies himself about going just around the back, and he grabs a wooden cup and dips it into a barrel of water.
Do you have anything with more heft? Stone mug, perhaps?
Well, there's no cause to go in being picky now, is there? He says, and he just sloshes the wooden cup down on the bar.
I'll try and delicately pick it up with my claws, I suppose, and take a sip. And the meat?
What kind are you looking for?
What sort of cuts do you have?
We got some sliced pork, a bit of maybe dried brisket in the back.
Pork, raw. Thank you.
He looks at you strangely, and then he just sort of nods his head and he heads back and he goes and sort of busies himself with cutting some pork. While he's doing that, we will move on and introduce our next character, Hannibal.
Now, DM, is there some semblance of a stage, perhaps, in this tavern?
There isn't really a stage so much, but there's kind of like an empty space in front of the hearth that just has kind of threadbare looking rug on the floor, and the hearth itself is burning low.
Okay. So I think a character would be sitting there under the hearth with his legs crossed, plucking at his lute. He's got, I would say he's a very lean build, pale skin, very pale skin. Not a tall fellow, but of average height. Plucking at his lute, tuning it. He does have I'd say, otherworldly demeanor, if you will, not topside demeanor, and he's just generally plucking at his loot.
You can see from your position where you're facing the hearth, you can see this dwarf sitting in the corner. He's sort of sitting at a corner table, which is right next to the fire, so he's probably in the sort of right side corner of your vision, just sitting there humming. He's like humming quietly to himself, and he's almost kind of matching your little plucking on your loot as well.
Interesting. I think with that he would try to match his humming now. He's like, he's trying to be like, okay, this guy's picking up what I'm putting down. He is like, okay.
You're like doing like a little melody together.
Yeah, starting to like, he's trying to like pick up the pace of his loot plucking. It's starting to carry a melody now instead of just tuning the loot.
Okay. Do I want to make you do a performance check?
First roll of the game? Or is that what you're saying?
First roll of the game to see if you're able to pluck your loot in tune with a dwarf's humming.
Yeah, let's see if we can do that.
Okay, go ahead and make a performance check.
Why not? What? It's a natural 20, baby.
First roll of the game is a nat 20. It can only go downhill from here.
Oh no.
Oh god. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Jinxed it.
So you just managed to pull off something quite spectacular. He's just sort of humming along, and as he does so, you start to run your fingers across your loot, weaving in some kind of counter melodies to his humming, and he sort of lifts his head a little bit. You see this kind of aged, maybe just beyond middle-aged looking weathered face. He's got a long beard, which is mostly white with some sort of bits of darker grey around the chin and cheeks, and he looks up at you and he sort of tilts his head with a little bit of a sort of surprised look, and he's got a pipe in his mouth, and he nods his head at you. He's like, you also see as he looks up at you, what might startle you a little bit, his eyes are really, really bright electric blue, very, very visibly bright electric blue as he looks up at you.
So we kind of matching vibes, because I mean, yeah, my eyes are, the scleras are black, and then the irises are just white. They're pure white.
You've both got cool eyes.
Shocking eyes.
Okay, so as you begin to play your loot in time with this dwarf's quiet humming, and the bartender moves from the kind of counter behind the bar to the bar, and he begins to sort of plate up these slices of pork and slide them over the bar towards the Dragonborn. We move on now to Suji's character.
Yes, so she is young, 5'6". She's also very slender with delicate features. She has light pale skin and silver hair cascading down her back like moonlight. She has these vibrant clear blue eyes that have a golden glint around the edges of the irises. And she has long pointed ears with a innocent yet determined expression. And she's wearing simple pale blue fine clothes with silver trims. And she also has a simple silver circlet with a symbol on it, which is a silver sun partially eclipsed by a smaller crescent moon. Is there a unoccupied small table in one of the corners?
Yeah, so the tavern is fairly empty. There are only about half a dozen people in this tavern. I'll give you a quick recap of all the people that you can see around before we go on to wherever you are. So you see this dwarf. There's the barkeep, who's this sort of half dwarf man, as well as these three merchants playing dice, and there's kind of hooded, sort of rugged looking woodsman near the door. It's not a busy place. It's fairly large room actually for the amount of people in it. So there are more than a few tables that are unoccupied.
Yeah, so she's going to be sitting at an unoccupied corner in the table with her parchment out in front of her. And she's going to be seeming to look like she is looking at the parchment, but actually eyeing and looking at others in the bar, trying to scope them out. And she does happen to notice the Dragonborn has caught her attention, and she is eyeing him with some intrigue.
Okay, thank you. Finally, we'll introduce Theo's character. Go ahead, Theo.
So this character walks into the bar. He has to hunch under the doorway, and he walks in with his very proud stature, very broad shoulders, very big belly. He notices the tall dragonborn and thinks, oh, thank goodness, someone else is just as tall as I am. Well, maybe he's a little shorter, but that's okay. I won't judge him too much for that. Walks over to the bar and says, listen here, I haven't had a good vegetable in many a day. What kind of vegetables do you serve here?
As you enter the bar, you are just this huge Goliath guy. Like you are massive, right? So you have to duck your head pretty much the whole time you're in here to avoid like
Every
smacking
time
your
there's a-
forehead off the rafters.
I was gonna say every time there's a rafter, I have to pass it. I have to kind of duck underneath it, make sure I don't break anything.
Yeah, and
Very
as you enter,
self-conscious of
there's also this like rugged woodsman by the door who just like he has to kind of like shuffle out of the way to avoid getting knocked down just by you simply entering this room. And yeah, you head over to the bar. The barkeep like looks up at you and you see his eyes like widen. He glances around the bar at these various patrons. You know, a dragonborn, a drow, an elf, and a massive Goliath, and he's just like looking. He shakes his head quickly and he looks back to you and he says, "What was that? What vegetables are we serving?" "Well, we got a root stew that I've made, which is ready to be doled out if you want some of that."
A root stew sounds delicious. That would be excellent, most excellent. Thank you.
Right.
How big are your bowls?
He looks you up and down and he says, "Well, I could get you a bucket if you want."
A bucket? That's too small. I suppose I'll have a few servings, a few buckets of your root stew. Thank you.
"All right, that'll be 5 silver then."
Oh, that's no problem. Reaches into his pouch and starts gingerly counting the silver pieces gently. That's 1. No, that's good. 2. Here you are, 5.
He takes them gratefully, slides them across the bar, and then he turns and he goes and like grabs a bucket and sort of washes it out in the meantime.
Why don't you just bring the bloody cauldron? Here you go.
And he's sort of grumbling to himself. He's like, "I'm going to eat me out of house and home."
But as he's given the bucket of soup, he notices that he was given a spoon, and he goes, "Excuse me, do you really think I could eat with this little teaspoon you've given me here?"
He just says, "Blast it." And he goes and he goes to the stew pot and he just grabs the ladle and gives it to you.
That is most excellent. Thank you so much. And the Goliath looks over at the Dragonborn, lifts up his ladle in like a cheers fashion, like hearty meal to you.
At which point I'm dangling a pork chop above my head and just slowly issuing a bit of icy breath onto it to freeze it.
The Goliath kind of looks at you in a strange, like, okay, right. But try not to let it surface too much, but it obviously does.
Suji, you can see this kind of bizarre scene of Goliath eating root stew from a bucket with a big ladle, and next to him there is this dragonborn, kind of slightly, a bit small. They're both very big, but a bit smaller than the Goliath, and he's next to him and he's sitting on the bar just freezing a raw pork chop with his icy breath before sliding it down his gullet. How do you react to this scene? Like, what do you do?
She's much more intrigued by this. I think she's gonna get up and walk over to the bar as well and take a seat next to the two, trying to just get a little closer, listen in maybe, but under the guise of she's gonna order a water from the bartender. The
bartender looks at you and he says, "Bloody hell. Is anyone gonna order something a bit stronger tonight?" And he just goes and grabs another wooden cup and dips it into a bucket of water and passes it over the bar.
"I like to keep my mind clear." And she's gonna take the water and just gently sip at it, listening in on the conversations between the other two.
The Goliath sees the nice iced cool drink of water and looks over to the bartender and says, "Oh yes, a big glass of water would be beautiful as well for me, thank you."
The bartender literally blank stares at you for a solid 4 or 5 seconds, and then he turns around and grabs another bucket.
Oh, you are too kind to me, good sir. Thank you.
He sloshes it down on the table, and he says, "Much as I'm loath to say it, water's free of charge."
Thank you kindly.
So, Hanny, you are still playing your lute. Do you make any note of those goings on behind you? You can sort of hear the chatter of what you can really hear in this space overall is you can hear the chatter of these three characters at the bar who've sort of started interacting with each other. You can also hear this clattering of dice from these three merchants. Other than that, it's just the dwarf humming along.
I think obviously with the buckets being smacked down onto the counter, that would immediately draw his notice, because I mean I'm assuming it would be a rather loud thunk on the counter. So he's like looking over his shoulder and he's like, "Oh, the tavern is starting to fill up," and he's gonna he's just gonna return another nod to the dwarf, and he's gonna sling his loot over his shoulder, and he's gonna go to the bar and get something to drink because he's parched. And he's gonna approach the bar and he's gonna say, "Barkeep, do you have any meat in your stock?"
You're not going to ask for it raw as well, are you?
No, not meat. Meads.
Oh, sorry, I couldn't understand your accent. Where are you from, anyway?
As it is a rather long story. It's far ways from here, more south, the deep south. But it's no matter. No matter. Do you have some meat or not, please?
Oh, I think I can accommodate. I get you a cup of mead right now. That'll be.
In fact, just bring the bottle. Just bring the bottle.
All right. He goes into the back and he goes and gets a sort of stoppered glass bottle of. Well, actually, I think it would be more like a clay bottle with a stopper in the top, and he places it down on the bar, and he says, "That'll be 2 silver pieces, please."
It is not a problem. He's gonna reach into his little coin purse and he's gonna just slide the 2 silver pieces over to him.
Barkeep places his hand down on them, slides them back, and hands over this bottle of mead.
Thank you. Thank you, barkeep. There we go. I'm assuming did he at least have the courtesy to open the bottle for me?
Well, yeah, no, he didn't actually. He places it down. It's not like it's just got a kind of like a cork in the top that's sticking out, so it wouldn't be difficult to open.
Oh, okay. So yeah. So I think my character is just gonna kind of lean over the bar, just see who else is sitting here, and he's like, "Do any of you partake?" And he's gonna have the bottle. He's gonna be like,
"Oh, that's very kind of me, but I would need more than a bottle, I think. But besides, I'm a little bit older now, so I tend to stick to water."
Yeah, Theo, what your
I
character
see.
would probably be used to is drinking you come from the kind of fairly remote hills and mountains. You probably would have been used to drinking fermented goat's milk and stuff. Those would be the kind of drinks, alcoholic drinks.
In his more single days, perhaps. But he's a family man now, you see. He needs to think responsibly.
"A sip then, perhaps."
Oh, perhaps a sip.
That's a small glass. Look, a normal glass to you is already small.
Well, this is. Oh, right. I see.
He's gonna wave the barkeep just for another glass, and he's gonna pour. To Theo's character would seemingly be a shot, and just
I was
slide
gonna say,
it over to him.
Picks up the glass like this, yes, and then just takes a swig and is like, "Yeah, yes, I do. I remember drinking stuff like this when I was younger. It's very good.
And perhaps a little bit
Thank you."
stronger where you come from, because you look very, very potent, my friend.
Thank you for the drink. No, I'm
It
used
is
to
not
much
a problem
stronger
at all.
stuff from home, but it was very nice of you. Thank you.
It is not a problem at all. Can I trouble any of you for a drink? And he's gonna do a double take. He's gonna be like, "Drink," and he's gonna gesture the bottle to the elf and the dragonborn at the end of the bar.
None for
Yeah,
me,
thank
thank
you,
you. Don't mean
Yeah,
to be a
thank
bore,
you.
but I have bows.
Oh, I see. Sorry, I did not mean to offend.
No offense is taken. The gesture's appreciated.
Very good. And how about you? And he's gonna give a little shit-eating grin.
No, thank you. I'll stick with my water. It keeps the mind clear.
Well, don't mind if I get creative then. And he's gonna pour himself a big glass.
The barkeep he looks at the four of you and he He's like mumbling under his breath. He seems to make a habit of this, right? And he's sort of mumbling under his breath, and he's saying, "Oh, normally I'd have been surprised by just the very fact that he's Dragonborn, Drow, Elf, and a Goliath. But bloody hell, look at them all. They're all so bloody pale. Looks like they've never seen the sun."
I think he's just I'm gonna look at my arms. It's like, yeah, well, you've got the point.
It almost sounds like the introduction to some sort of joke.
He does.
I think I've heard this one before. He's just gonna like lean over the bar and he's just gonna look at everybody. He's gonna be like, yeah, I think I heard this one before.
So the interior of this tavern, it's fairly gloomy as the evening is coming on. The sun is going low. The room inside the tavern is fairly dim. There are a few lanterns. There's a hearth giving this room some light. Again, as you're all sitting at the bar, you can hear the clatter of dice in one corner of the room, along with this gentle humming of this dwarf character as well.
I think I'm gonna nudge the Goliath next to me. I'm gonna be like, so do you play dice? Are you a gambling man?
At first, the Goliath doesn't feel a thing, but he
Yeah,
hears.
it's like this,
Yeah, but
this tiny little poke.
yeah, but he hears the elf speaking, and then he kind of looks around and goes, "Oh, sorry, were you speaking to me?"
Oh yes, sorry. I suppose I have to raise my voice slightly because you're way up there. Do you play dice?
You say, I'm
And he
way up
kind
here,
of
but I
shouts
stay.
that a little bit. Do the people
The
people
word
react to
dice.
us that are playing dice at the moment, DM?
I think one of them would look up at you. Actually, if you're looking at these three characters that are playing dice, I'll give you a little bit more information on what they look like. So there are three of them. One of them looks to be a short, wiry-looking halfling wearing a forest green waistcoat. There's an old, balding human with kind of crooked-looking smile, like white hair that's sort of going bald on top and around the sort of front. And there's also a sharp-featured looking human woman who looks to be maybe in her late 30s. And she has quite a distinctive looking scar on her chin. And I think as you raise your voice and start talking about dice, the halfling kind of looks up and he says, "Did I hear you talking about dice? Perhaps you'd like to come over and have a game, friend."
Oh, well, you see there, my giant friend. There's some more dice enthusiasts here with us. Do you care for a game?
Oh, that actually sounds like a lot of fun. Just give me one moment. Picks up the bucket, chugs down the rest of the soup. All right.
Well, say
Now
less.
ready.
And he's just gonna grab the bottle and a glass, and he's gonna head over to that table with his Goliath buddy.
All right, you two head over to the table. You look down at these three characters. The halfling introduces himself as Nerin Gold Thistle, and he is a cheerful, sort of slightly paunchy looking halfling. Sort of wiry in the arms, but he's got a bit of a gut. And
Okay.
he looks up at you and he looks quite cheerful and he welcomes you. He says, "Come on, friends, come, sit down, take a seat, let's play Three Bones." And the older looking humans, they look kind of a bit sort of suspicious as they look towards you.
It's like, oh, that was Syrian? Did I get that right? Sorry, I have a bit of a accent.
"Not a problem, friend, it's Nerin Gold Thistle."
Neren Gold Thistle, I see. Lucian, well met.
"That's right, I'm a
He's
member of
gonna
the prominent Gold Thistles of East Farthing."
Oh, is that the fact? I've never been. Is it lovely there?
"That's right, the most beautiful little halfling town you've ever seen."
And I'm assuming you folk are very hearty in your drink and your food.
"Of course we are. You should have seen my reaction when I found out it comes in pints."
God damn it! Fucking, this is just Pippin. Okay. Well, speaking of, I mean, he's a little bit stronger though, so maybe just a glass. But would you care for a drink? And he's just gonna
Absolutely.
hold up his
And he
glass,
just holds his
and he's
glass,
gonna-
hold his cup out to you.
Yeah, he's gonna pour him a drink, and he's gonna top himself up again, and he's just gonna take a drink.
The halfling just like eagerly holds up the cup. It's a little bit big for him because because obviously he's very small.
Yeah.
And he just like greedily guzzles down the mead.
Okay.
All right,
So
then.
what game are we playing here? What game are we playing here?
Yes.
Three Bone, you said?
3 bones, that's right.
And how does one play?
Well, it's a very simple game, friend. Each player needs to roll 3 6-sided dice in secret. Keep it to yourself. Highest total wins the
Ah.
pot, but if you roll a natural triple, it's an automatic win. We call that 3 bones. After rolling
Ah, I
once,
see.
you can raise the stakes once or fold. If someone raises, everyone else has to match or fold.
I see. I see.
Well, that sounds pretty easy to follow.
Do we
Do
dare?
you have any room
Do we
for
dare
more?
for one game?
Yes. Do you have room for more players?
Absolutely, it can be played with as many players as you like.
Oh. Well, you don't perhaps have some spare dice that you can lend to us, please?
That's the beauty of it, my friend. You only need 3 dice.
I see. Well, shall
Did
we
your
make a
friends
bet
at the
then?
bar want to join us as well?
Lucian is gonna
Oh,
like look over his shoulder. He's gonna be like, "Do you guys want to join us? We're playing a game of dice. We can make some coin."
I'm still recovering from my last game, but thank you.
Oh, our scaly friends out. How
I
about
don't
you over
particularly
there?
I don't particularly like gambling.
No gambling. Oh, that's a shame. Oh well, suit
Well,
yourself then.
that just means more fun for us.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
I'm Ski, by the way. What's your name?
Ski, Lucian. Well met, Ski.
Lucian. Holds out his big meaty hands with his like big stubby fingers. They're scaly, not scaly, but like they've definitely been worked in. You know, like they have like calluses. That's it.
Yeah, Lucian is also gonna be like, "Oh, well." He's just gonna grab your index finger and just shake your index finger.
Oh, sorry, I keep forgetting that everyone else has such tiny
Oh yeah, no,
hands.
you're rather large, man. Should we start off small? Maybe just a small bit, like maybe, let's say 5 silver pieces.
You call that small?
Silver piece.
Silver?
Oh, that seems like a lot.
Let's keep it real simple. Let's each put 1 silver coin down.
Okay. All right. So the halfling says, "I'll fold." The older man who introduces himself, he introduces himself as Old Joran, and he says, "Fold." And then the woman who calls herself Scylla, she says, "I'll raise 1 silver piece." She places another silver in front of herself.
Oh, I'll match that. And he's gonna put another silver piece on.
Yes, I will as well.
Okay, so Lucian and Scibion, you both raise, and so does the woman Scylla. Okay, time to show your dice. So this woman turns over her 3 dice, and she reveals a 4, a 2, and a 3 for a total of 9.
Oh,
Mm.
you got me. I got an 8.
No, the
Blade.
13.
She kind of glares at you and then slides the 2 silver over to you, Lucian.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
The halfling looks towards Scylla and he's like,
Oh, Scylla, there's no need to look so glum. You'll win it back.
and he like pats her on the arm and she just like sort of looks at him and kind of recoils away from him.
And how about another game then?
Oh, I'm afraid we might join our friends back at the bar. They seem to get a little bit lonely. And he's gonna pour another drink for the halfling.
What are you,
and then-
chicken?
You know what?
just-
Yeah, fair.
At the mention of what are you, chicken, Ski just giggles next to Lucian.
One more then it is. One more roll.
All right, let's do it.
See if we can make some more money here.
Nerin says,
I'll fold again.
Old Joran goes,
A raise from me.
and Scylla says, I'll raise again too.
I'll match that. I'm gonna slide another silver piece in.
Ski says, I cannot bet on this again. Old.
Okay. They reveal their dice one by one. Nerin shows that he had a 3, a 2, and a 1 for a total of a 6. Old Joran reveals a 6, a 4, and a 3 for a total of 13. And Scylla reveals a 4, a 4, and a 2 for a total of 10.
So we match there, I see. Another 13 from me as well.
Okay. And Ski, you show a 1, a 1, and a 6 for a total of an 8, I believe.
Mhm.
Okay, with that, since Old Joran and Lucian have the same score, you two have to go to head with one more roll.
That's
so
okay.
they are gonna roll. He's gonna roll a 3d6 as well.
Okay. Well, Lucian's gonna say, well, how about we sweeten the pot a little bit? and he's gonna slide another silver piece in.
Okay. So that would make it 6 total from the two of you. Joran also, he like slides another silver over.
Okay, there we go.
He reveals that he got a 5, a 1, and a 2 for a total of 8.
My friend, it seems that we are at odds with one another. I rolled an 8 as well.
Oh no.
All right.
Oh, no.
This is getting interesting.
Says old Joran, and he sort of grins crookedly
You wanna
at you.
sweeten the pot? One more silver piece?
You're a man after my own heart, you are.
And he puts another silver in.
Same. I just put another silver in.
Okay, and roll again.
One last roll.
Old Joran reveals a 4, a 4, and a 2 for a total of 10.
And I hold my hands over my dice, and I lift them up, and it's a 6, a 6, and a 1.
Oh.
He grumbles,
So
Yeah, fair is fair, I suppose.
and he slides over the 4 silver towards you.
I'm gonna get up from the table, and I'm gonna like nudge Ski this time, seeing as he didn't feel me the last time. I'm like, I
Right.
think it's time that we return to our friends, and I'm gonna pour everybody at the table a drink from the bottle of mead, and then we're gonna get up and go back to the bar.
Well, I suppose I can't complain too much if he's giving us a drink.
Grumbles the old man. And the halfling kind of says,
It was nice playing with you, friends.
It was so much
Hopefully we'll
fun.
meet again.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much for the
Remember,
games.
it's called Three Bones.
3 bones. I might teach it to the others. Who knows? Thank you so much.
And see you again.
Ski slowly walks back to the bar and tries to lightly tap on the bucket and looks at the bartender. They go, "Can I get some more of this delicious root stew?"
the
Oh, and this is my treat, by the way.
the
I'll pay for
barkeep
you.
grabs the
That's
bucket
great.
and he just dunks the whole bucket into the pot of stew and slams it down onto the bar.
How much was
Yes.
that barkeep?
He's already paid up.
He's paid up? Oh,
I
say less.
gave him 5 whole silver for this. I'm gonna eat my fill.
He's a hearty fellow, this one, isn't he?
Normally I'd charge a lot less, but it's what it is. He's a big
I
guy.
mean, he is a big fellow. He
He's
is
a big
rather
fella.
large.
A very big feller. And,
And
you,
you two,
sir,
are you
any
still
more?
fine?
Would you like some more mead or?
Oh no, I still have little less than a half in this bottle. I'm good for now. Thank you, barkeep. And he's gonna lean over to the other two and he's gonna like, anything else for you, new friends? Yes, no, maybe so.
I'm good with just the water. Thank you.
Just the water, nothing to eat, perhaps?
I'm not hungry right now.
Well, that is fair. That is
You
fair.
wouldn't
How about
happen
you,
to
my
have
scary
fruit,
friend?
would you?
Barkeep?
Fruit? Well, to tell you the truth, it's been a while since we've had a shipment. Fruit's expensive, you know how it is. We're up on the highlands. Fruit usually comes from overseas. Some
Yeah,
apple
barkeep,
orchards down in
maybe.
the valleys, I suppose. But yeah,
Maybe a little something in the back, and he's gonna slide like 2 silver pieces to the barkeep. Maybe if you have a little something in the back, perhaps for our friend.
well, I was going to save it for myself, but I suppose 2 silver pieces is pretty generous.
He takes the 2 silver and he goes out back, and then he comes back and he sort of tosses an apple over the bar towards you, Asher.
Let's catch it.
Like, catch it on one claw.
Just hold out your finger. Just
There you go.
I think what I'll do, I'll toss the apple up and then snap at it into a nice juicy explosion.
It just crunches and some like bits of juice just spurt to either side of your mouth.
like Lucian is just like, that was quite impressive.
It's a rare treat, thank you.
Okay, is there anything
Yeah.
else you'd each like to say to each other? Any
I
questions
didn't
you'd like to ask?
catch your name, and I'll turn to the half elf.
My name's Serafina. What's yours?
Asher.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Asher.
I'll wipe some of the
Serafina.
pork gore from my claw and hold it out.
Put out for a handshake.
Aye.
She'll shake your hand.
I don't recognize the symbol you wear.
You don't.
No.
It's a symbol. It's a symbol of my god, Alarian.
If anyone who just heard Serafina speak would like to make a religion check, let me know.
Yeah, let's do that.
I don't think Asher would know.
Okay. You can also just wave the. You don't need to make the check.
Ooh,
Yeah, Lucian, you have not heard the name of this god. You come from the deep south, so that's a whole different kettle of fish, really.
yeah. It's like oblivious to it. It's like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah, you have
Rolled
no
a-
idea, Ski.
I rolled a 5.
Yeah, you also are
I was
more accustomed to
probably
a
too
different
busy.
set of gods.
probably way too busy eating soup anyway.
Yeah, you hear them talking, but you're like You're just getting your ladle and just scooping soup into your mouth. It's quite a nice, like, hearty soup. It's a kind of a root stew, so it's made up of like turnips, carrots, and just different kinds of root vegetables.
Nice thick.
And tubers?
Sure.
Yeah, I think Lucian is just gonna mumble to himself like, I've never heard of this god. I don't really believe in them much.
Yeah, Lucian, the god that you're like most familiar with would probably be the
Slaanesh.
not Slaanesh. The spider god of the drow you will be most familiar with.
Yeah, my people just worship spiders and shit. I don't know.
My people are fucking
Spider.
weird.
Weird, man. I don't know.
You should learn about Larian. He'll bring you some harmony and healing into your life.
Harmony and healing. Well, listen. I can already keep a tune. I don't know about healing. I don't know about healing though, but harmony, I can keep a tune.
You're a priest of this deity.
I'm not a priestess. I am a scribe. I've spent many hours writing and searching through texts of Alarian.
I
He
think
is
so well a poet.
chomping down his soup and goes, "Now, why would you do that?"
To worship him, to help bring his meaning into people's lives.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be rude or anything. I was just very curious.
No, it's okay. No, it's good to be curious.
Well, that writing will give me carpal tunnel. I won't do that.
I mean, could always heal it away.
I suppose. I'd rather stick to my instrument.
Do those not make your wrist get carpal tunnel though?
No, my wrist dance on these lute strings. Does not hurt one bit.
You'd like to play it?
I could. Why not? He takes his lute off his back and he's just gonna pluck at his strings again.
The drow is obviously very skilled at playing his lute. Actually, Zerafina, obviously looking at these three people that you've just met, you are kind of put into mind of the reason why you are here.
Yes, that's why she took an interest in the Dragonborn, because that was very obvious with the scales.
Like, do you want to comment on that, or are you just keeping that to yourself for now?
I think she's keeping it to herself for now.
Okay.
Kind
okay.
of probably quite sure of the Dragonborn and eyeing the other two. Probably a bit sure about the Goliath, but still not quite sure yet about the Drow. Whether or not he is the third.
Okay. All right. So you sort of while away a few hours there, chatting to each other. Is there anything that any of you would like to reveal to each other? Any information that you'd like to tell them? Introductions about yourself, where you came from, or anything like that? Or are you all happy to just kind of keep that to yourself for now? What's your preference?
Playing things a little bit close to the chest at the moment.
Okay.
These are strangers. Don't know them quite well yet.
Okay. What about the Goliath?
Ski has finished his stew by now, and he's wiping his cheeks and going, "Has anyone actually seen a shrine to Oramath nearby? I was told there should be one here. I took a quick look around town, and I haven't seen any yet."
Shrines. I'm trying to think.
Would we have
No,
seen?
It would be
Honor
would
one?
be some sort of circular stone. There would definitely be like a circular stone carved with a mountain beneath an alpine flower. There would definitely be that kind of insignia on the shrine.
I have seen a lot of stones on the road, but no shrines, unfortunately. I mean, I don't really
Oh,
mind for all
That's-
of that. I do apologize, friend.
Again, you can roll a religion check if you want to know, if you want to see whether you know anything about this character. Make sure you ask if you want to do any kind of rolls like this.
Yeah,
Think
'cause I
about.
would say, would we have seen this? Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
that's
I
very
think I'll let
strange.
that come under a religion check as well.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see.
Should I wait?
Oh.
Should I wait before?
Yeah,
I
let's
got a
resolve-
23.
Oh my god! Of course you would get a high
You
religion
probably know
check.
this religion better than I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you know, as he's speaking, you kind of recognize what he's talking about. You recall from your studies of different religions, you have heard this, you've read of this name of this goddess before. The name that he mentions, which is Orimatha, is a goddess of the giants and giant folk and Goliaths who are their children. Orimatha is a kind of a goddess most closely aligned with nature and life. As the Goliath mentioned, her holy symbol is what is normally carved onto a circular medallion, and it's an image of a mountain, and then at the bottom of the mountain, sort of on the foothills of the mountain, there is a blooming alpine flower. That is the symbol of Orimatha that you would have remembered, right? What else would you know about Orimatha? Well, pretty much everything with a 23. So you would know that Orimatha is conceptualized as a towering, tall woman with skin that looks like dark granite laced with veins of pale quartz crystal. She has eyes that shimmer like lightning in mist, and braided hair that flows like wind-tossed fog. She's most commonly worshipped by cloud giants and their descendants, which are a type of giant that live high in mountains, like mountain peaks and things like that. And their children, the Goliaths, the cloud giant Goliaths, tend to live in the valleys below those mountains. She's depicted as being clad in a cloak of stars, carrying a basket of soil in one arm and a staff made of lightning in the other. She represents a form of harmony, which is probably how you got to reading about her in the first place, because your goddess too is also focused on harmony. But it's the harmony between the strength of stone and the life that stone shelters. So the hardness and unyielding strength and power of stone, but also sort of conversely, the way the mountain shelters sort of blooming valleys and farmland beneath. She sort of teaches that might and power isn't measured by destruction, but by one's capacity to nurture life in the face of adversity. I think that will be enough to go on for now, but I think that you would know that in terms of her clergy, like the people who worship her, they come from all walks of life. There aren't really priests or priestesses of Orimatha. There are just individuals who revere her and pass her worship along through stories and oral traditions and songs and simple rituals. She's not a very sort of built up goddess who has temples and churches and cathedrals and things. She's a very simple, down to earth kind of nature goddess. And that, Zerafina, is what you recall about Orimatha.
Okay.
However, in terms of have you seen any shrines nearby, you have not.
Okay. I
And
haven't.
with this role, would she also know why anyone would be looking for this shrine? 'Cause
I
that
think
could be like, yeah.
I'm going to say with a 23. Okay, this is something that is probably less well known, so I think it would be harder. However, I would probably have given it a DC 20 to know about this, and you did roll a 23. I pretty much just have to give you everything, right? Like I could be
Yeah.
cruel and say, no, this is a bit too hard, but no, I feel like you earned it with a 23. So what you would know basically is that occasionally travelers, you might have maybe even met one at your own place of origin, your temple or whatever.
Yeah.
But the myths go that Orimatha, like when the giants first went to war with one another, Orimatha had carved a cradle-shaped valley which would shelter the young, old, sick, and the wounded, and it's believed that this hidden veil still exists somewhere in the world, and Orimatha's shrine is like her main manifestation of power, is said to be found within this valley. So followers of Orimatha sometimes go on pilgrimages in search of this valley and this shrine in order to bring prosperity to their tribe, bring like harmony in the balance of nature, especially when facing times of hardship. Maybe the farmlands are not doing so well, their crops are failing, or maybe people are falling sick, there's like an illness or something in the tribe, then people will go off in search of Orimatha's hidden valley, which is where it's said to heal the sick and the wounded and bring healing to the land if you pray to Orimatha in that location. However, what you would also know is that no one who has gone off on this pilgrimage has returned with like a story of success, basically. It has either never been found by some pilgrims will return, but they will return in failure. They haven't found it, or they won't return, and they're either thought to have died on the journey, perhaps came across some kind of hardship, or they might have been killed by monsters, who knows, as they were questing out in the wilderness, or they found the valley but just never left.
Did you get all that?
Yeah, I hope you're
I think I
taking
got-
notes, because this is a lot of exposition. You basically rolled a max exposition roll. Well done.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just glad. I'm like, this is not at me. I don't know shit about religion. I can just sit back and listen.
Oh, okay. Are you talking about the shrine of Orin Mather? I say to the Goliath.
How do you know that?
I've read many scrolls and text upon Orin Mather in my studies.
Oh, it is so strange to see someone who's not a Goliath who knows all this. This is very sorry, I'm getting a little giddy, but this is very exciting. Maybe you'd be able to help me. Have you seen an Oramatha shrine somewhere in your travels?
I unfortunately have never seen one. I just have read about what it means and all the
Yeah.
pilgrimages to it. Why are you searching for the shrine?
I'm on a pilgrimage myself. The crops back home are not doing so good.
Oh, that's not good. But
Um,
so many have never returned.
Yes, my father was one of them. So I suppose that I've left home. I've left my family behind for two reasons: to restore the successful harvest at home, and to restore my family's name.
How long ago did your father go on the pilgrimage?
It was 10 years ago. We haven't
Oh.
seen him.
I'm so sorry.
I miss him. I miss him dearly. So does his grandson.
How old is your son?
He's 12 now.
He was only 2 when he left.
Yeah. Yes. But he has very fond memories. I don't know how he remembers. He's a smart boy, my boy. But
Very nice.
he
It's very good memory.
remembers the kindness and softness of his grandfather.
Was there maybe a hope of also finding your father?
I hold on to hope every day.
Did you have any clues as to where you could find the shrine?
That it was here, that it was in the city.
Oh, so close.
Well, yes, but it's still a bit of a distance from my village at the base of the mountain of the veiled mountain. But it's not so bad. It's a pilgrimage after all, not a day trip. But no, I don't. If there's no shrine here, I wonder where my father would have went after this.
I mean, if it's a shrine that is carved by Goliaths, it should be hard to miss.
You're not wrong there. You're not wrong. They tend to be quite large.
All right. So, as you're talking, all of a sudden, you hear the wind howl outside, and the door suddenly slams open against the wall, shoving the woodsman away as the door sort of bursts inward.
For a second time.
You see, yeah, he just like
Like,
stumbles
"Fuck!"
across the room and turns around. He's got his hood
Not
like
again.
low over his head and like a sort of scraggly beard. And you see silhouetted by the fading sunlight in the doorframe that there is a cloaked figure standing there with his cloak looks shredded. And as he steps into the light, you see that his face is streaked with dark grey stains and blood running down from one eyebrow down the side of his face. And his chest is like rising and falling in frantic breaths. He stands there still for a moment, then he stumbles forward, his boots dragging, hands trembling, and he suddenly collapses just inside the doorway. And you see kind of like a dull white, like greyish powder spilling from his cloak like snow as he falls forward. The room just goes completely silent. The dwarf in the corner, he kind of like looks up with those bright electric blue eyes. I'm just sitting there. The 3 merchants also like in the middle of their game, like the halfling sitting there with their 3 dice in his hand just about to roll, and they all look up at this commotion, and this woodsman is standing there like turning. The innkeep also is startled, and he just sort of stands, and the 4 of you like looking around, you would see this guy collapse just inside the doorway and falls to the floor. The one of you that is
Zerafina's-
closest to the door is Zerafina. So what's your first reaction?
She would rush over to check on him, like check to see if he's,
Okay.
alive and what's his
Okay, okay.
status.
All right, so
Lucian is
Zerafina
just
is
gonna
rushing
come in.
over towards there. What is we'll go around. What's Lucian gonna do?
He's just gonna comment. He's gonna like, he looks like shit.
Okay, what is Skibion's reaction?
He gets up and slowly walks towards Zerafina. He knows not to rush in buildings, kind of dangerous, but he walks slowly towards her in case, because he feels like, well, if this body needs to be moved, that he's probably the guy for the job.
Right, with Zerafina and Skibion both heading towards this fallen figure, and Lucian just kind of making quips from the peanut gallery. Asher, what do you do?
I think Ash is going to get up quite quickly. He'll knock the stool over with his tail, rather unceremoniously. And Ash is going to head to the door, and he's going to peer outside to see if this guy was followed.
All right, we'll resolve that first. So as the elf and the Goliath head over to the collapsed figure, Lucian, you sit by the bar, you watch as the Dragonborn like heads up to the door and peers outside. Asher, what you see outside, again, like you see the pale sky above, this cool blue color, but the sun has now dipped quite low. So the sky is darkened somewhat, and the sun is starting to dip below the horizon. It's kind of twilight hours now. The air still is quite still. There is a light breeze, but yeah, it doesn't seem like you can't really see if there was anyone following. It seems to be fairly just empty. There's nothing really out there. You can see the moor sort of stretching into the distance. Moorland and brushland. Zerafina, you kneel down beside this man, and he looks like he's about to lose consciousness, but he like looks up at you and he holds out one arm towards you. He like grabs you by the arm, and his other hand he like reaches up to you, and you see that he's holding an envelope in his hand, like a sealed letter with a little like red wax seal on it, and his voice is like just above a whisper as he like sort of stretches up towards you, and he says, Greythorn, the ash, they won't last the week.
Right?
Does
Would I
Ski
know
hear
it?
this too?
With Skibion also heading close, you would also have heard this, yeah. Zerafina, you don't know what Greythorn is.
Okay. She's gonna take the envelope and she's gonna hand it to Ski, and then she's gonna continue to like check to see like if this guy needs healing or anything.
Yeah, go ahead and make a medicine check. First, Suji roll.
Does the envelope say anything on it? Does it have any markings? Any
Uh,
stamps?
I will tell you that in just a second. We'll just resolve this
Fair enough.
first. Okay, the medicine check,
21.
Zerafina with a 21. Jesus. Oh wait, that's not your first roll. You did do the religion check before. Yeah.
Yeah.
21.
Christ.
Which was 23.
Two 20s in a row, damn.
Yeah, the rolls have
Yeah.
been high for.
Because those are my
Well,
specialties,
They've
religion.
either
and
been
Yeah,
very
of course,
high or just
yes.
very low, and there's nothing in between.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you like look him over and you can see kind of at a glance what is wrong with him with you've obviously kind of got training. You're trained in the healing arts, right? You look him over, you can see that he appears to have been bitten in several places by what looks like wolf bite marks. And those are the parts where he's bleeding from. He's got a bite in his left leg. He's also got a couple of bites in both of his arms. And he appears to have like blunt force trauma on his forehead where it's bleeding from one of his eyebrows. That doesn't look like he was bitten. It looks like maybe he fell and hit his head on something, perhaps while running away. But he's lost consciousness at this point, and he's just lying there on the floor. But yeah, he seems to have been bitten by wolves in several places.
Okay, so she's gonna use cure wounds on him.
Okay. So what is it? How does this look as you kind of cast Cure Wounds? What does you casting Cure Wounds look like?
So it looks like she's going to, because he's grabbing onto her arm, right? And with her free hand, she's gonna touch his head, and there's gonna be a soft silver glow emanating from her hand and going into this man.
Okay. And you rolled an 8 for your healing, so I would say that that is quite good. This silver glow like spreads through his body, and the parts where he was bleeding from these bite wounds, you can see through the through his kind of tattered clothes, you can see his skin sort of begins to knit back together, and the wounds kind of close to the point where they stop bleeding. His breathing, which was a bit ragged, becomes more steady, and he's breathing normally, but he's still unconscious. And I will roll to see how long he's going to be unconscious for. Okay, yeah, so he's still unconscious. As for Skibiorn, you look at this letter. There's no writing on the outside of the letter, but it's a sealed letter with a wax seal on it. And the seal itself doesn't have any particular mark. It's just a simple wax seal.
That was going to be my next question. Do I recognize or if I didn't recognize the insignia on it, maybe I'd give it to someone who might. But for now, I'll just put it in my bag.
Okay. You're not going to open it or read it?
Not right now.
Okay. Yeah, so that's by the bar, Lucian. You see this scene unfold. You want to do anything or say anything?
Well, I think at this point, Lucian is just going to be on his feet and just like look around the bar, just gauging on everybody's reactions in the bar.
So
to this man.
So everyone in the bar seemed pretty startled for a moment, but as there's like this flurry of movement as Asher rushes towards the door and Skibiorn and Zerafina rush towards the body of the man, everyone else kind of like the three merchants like just get their heads together and they start sort of like what's going on? Like what's that all about? The older dwarf by the fire, he sort of leans back and he's sort of scratching his beard and he's just watching the scene. He's like, and the kind of woodsman, the ranger, he kind of like he moves back and he kind of like pulls up a stool and he kind of like sits a way away from what's going on.
Okay. I think Lucian is just gonna ask the barkeep. He's gonna ask, is there a place where we can just, move this man to make him comfortable, just so he can rest up?
Right you are. Just put him in front of the hearth, get him warm.
So Ski scoops him up like it's nothing, puts him in front of the hearth, and tries to gently put him down.
You can do that.
Yeah, can I?
It's a big
Are you
boy.
asking?
He can.
You do that.
Okay.
He does that.
Good. Say, I don't.
He's done that. He's done it.
Of whether yes,
But
good.
Goliath has done it. Yeah, that was a statement. You can do that. Not you can
okay.
do that.
Yeah.
It's weird. It
Do
sounded like a
that?
question. I was
Wow.
like,
A man of your stature, you can.
I can't pick up this tiny human.
Yeah, I'm not going to make you roll an athletics check to pick up a guy who like weighs probably about half as much as you do.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
As I put him down, I look over to the other three and say, he dropped this letter. Well, he didn't drop it. He gave it to us. What do we do with it?
Well, I mean,
Read
open
it.
it, big man. Oh, well, maybe give it to
I
somebody
wouldn't-
with more
I wouldn't trust my
dexterous
fingers.
hand.
Oh, Lucian, here you go.
Yes, yes. Oh, no, I don't like reading. Here you go. Yeah, he's gonna hand it over to Zerafina.
I
Hot
can read
potato.
it. Zerafina's gonna open the letter. While she's opening it, she's gonna be like, what did he mean about they'll only survive, they won't last a week?
What?
And
Oh,
she's
what
gonna
did he
open it
say?
up. He said something about they wouldn't last a week. They won't last a week.
Oh, that's very
Someone must be in
ominous.
danger.
Maybe there's more in
And-
the letter.
Yes, and she's gonna read the letter.
Okay, do you read it out loud?
Yeah.
Okay. So the high elf opens the letter and reads it aloud. The letter says, "To any who still walk the roads and have the will to do good, I write from the village of Greythorn at the base of Mount Veilgrim. Ash falls from a sky unbroken by fire, and shadows stir in the mists. Our fields lie still. The wildlife grows restless. We are afraid to speak it aloud, but something has awoken beneath the mountain. We have no soldiers, no mages, only old stories and cold nights. We offer what little we have, silver from the old mine, food and shelter. More than coin, you will have our eternal gratitude should you succeed. Please come swiftly, or not at all." And the letter is
Oh.
unsigned.
It sounds like they need help.
Yeah, it sounds like There's quite an imbalance happening there. They need our help.
Sounds like trouble to me.
We should try
Gonna
to get there as
fetch my
soon as
spear from the
possible.
door.
Okay.
At that
We should
comment,
get there as-
Lucian is just gonna look
Well-
at his loot. He's gonna be like, oh, well, I guess this will do.
Do you want to wait until he wakes?
Oh,
That's probably for the best. We can't just
Yes.
venture off after this letter.
but if what he says is true, we can't wait too long. It says they won't last a week.
I don't think it's gonna take him a week to wake up, though.
At that, I'm going to pick up the cup of water and I'm going to eat it in his face. See if I can wake him up.
The Dragonborn just like,
Okay, right, okay, let's see. So, right.
Have
I
you a big
think-
faker?
Why don't we just make like a flat d20 to see if this works? Just roll a flat d20.
Flat D20, alright.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Seraphim's like, hey, don't do that to him.
It'll be
You splash water in this guy's face. He doesn't respond. Now he just has a very wet face.
Seraphina's just gonna be like, use a cloth and just like wipe the water off his face.
yeah, barkeep,
Petting
cloth, please.
It doesn't work on smooth skins then.
Are you a ghoul from Fallout?
Sweet skin. Yeah, it does have an effect sometimes, but this guy is knocked out cold.
No, I think he might be out for a little while. For how long? I couldn't tell you. Zarfina, can you tell how long he might be out for?
Ski, give him a smack there.
I don't
Can I
know.
tell how
No,
long he'll
not-
be out for?
No, not gonna.
I was
no.
just kidding, big man. I was kidding, big man. If you had to
Don't-
slap him,
don't
it
s-
would
no,
be a big
if
stain
I-
to clean.
If I slapped him in the face, you wouldn't have a head anymore.
Yeah, rather not. Rather not.
Do you know how long he'll be out for? I think that you wouldn't know precisely, but you'd think it would be between probably 1 to 4 hours.
I think it's gonna take a few hours.
D4.
How long?
Yeah, 1d4.
Yeah,
It'll take
it could
few
take a couple hours, but how long will it take us to travel to this place? Will we make it there? in
I mean,
time?
I would rather wait for more details. We should probably wait for him to wake up. We do not want to be walking into an ambush. He looks quite rough and up.
What's the time of day?
Like I said, it's kind of like early evening now. I mean, it's getting on a bit. You've been here for like a couple of hours now, so I would say it's evening time. The sun is dipping below the horizon. In fact, like as you were resolving this and as Asher was looking out over the moors, literally you would have seen Asher would have seen the sun set, like literally going below the horizon and darkness falling.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we're spending the night here, guys.
Yeah, best not to travel at dark. It's not very safe.
The barkeep,
Um,
like, he's been kind of wringing his hands a little bit, and he fetched you the cloth and stuff, but as he's like overhearing you speak, he does say to you, "Did I hear you mention Greythorn?"
Yes, that's where this letter mentions. They're in trouble.
Yeah, I see. Well, Greythorn's a village just up in the mountains, really. It's mining town mostly. We sometimes get travelers and peddlers passing through here, heading up there or back. Not common though. It's a bit out of the way. It's probably about a day's brisk travel from here, maybe 2 if you take in your time.
So we
Well, that's
should
still
wait.
less- that's still less than a week, so we might have time to wait.
It is best to wait.
I wouldn't
We may need
recommend
a
traveling
room.
at night, especially looking at the wounds this fella had. Looks like
He's got some
wolves
strange
are-
bite marks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's best that I'll probably get a room and watch over him until he wakes.
Now that does sound like a good idea. I feel a little bit of a tingle in my fingertips from all the meat.
Ski looks over at the barkeep with just a small amount of hope, not much, and he goes, "Do you have accommodations for larger folk?"
Well, I suppose I could make you a hay bed in the barn.
Oh, that sounds lovely.
I've never had a more troublesome set of customers. But to be honest, it's mostly you. All right, well, if the 4 of you stay the night, I'll put you all up in rooms and the Goliath here can have the barn. And that's gonna cost you, though, for the night.
How much? How much would you charge?
It'll be 3 silver pieces apiece.
All right. Once again, takes out his bag,
I'll
deliberately,
hold it.
slowly
I'll
count.
hold his hand and
Uh,
just roll out a gold piece.
Oh,
Oh, that's
Ten.
kind of you. Save me the trouble of counting.
Plant it in the barkeep's hand. I'll also stay in the barn.
Okay. All
Whatever
right,
tore our friend up follows, I don't think it'd be wise for any of us to be alone.
That's probably a good idea, actually, now that you mention it.
Okay, he says,
All right. Well, I suppose I'll let you off the extra 2 silver if you're staying in the barn as well.
and he just takes the gold coin.
So, which one is my room?
I'll show you
If
to
I
your
could get
rooms.
some-
Follow me.
He'll say bellhop, please.
He walks you through into kind of like a rickety wooden staircase that heads to the upper floor of the back half of the tavern. It's kind of split into the common room, which is just one floor, and the back half is 2 floors. And he leads you up into sort of a set of rooms, and he shows you into a room. It's not like a very fancy place, clearly.
Who's
the
gonna
room.
be carrying the guy?
Are
I
you
was gonna
carrying the
say.
guy up into the
will.
room, or just leaving him
Yeah.
by the hearth?
I mean,
I
yeah.
thought we were gonna bring him
Lucille-
into the room.
Oh, if
Well,
he's-
yeah,
if
no,
he's-
the Goliath won't fit up the stairs.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lucian will help Serafina.
Well, hang
to-
on.
Yes.
Is the room in a hallway, or is it one of those things where? No, wait, I was ducking underneath the rafters. Never mind.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you,
no.
you no.
You're
To
not
be
gonna
honest,
You always
fit
you,
pass him in through the window.
you know, you would be able to fit, but it
Ah.
would just be a bit of a squeeze.
Well, what I was going
Ah,
to say
okay.
was it could be one of those open halls, and then I could just hand him up the stairs or up onto the balcony. But I was going through the main floor earlier, and I was ducking underneath the rafters, so it is not. It's
Yeah.
not
Well,
that
it's a
much.
bit of a squeeze for you.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, you can still
So I
carry
look-
him up.
I look at the narrow hallway and the tiny stairs, and I go, I don't know if I can carry him up there.
You should be fine, big friend. It's just is a bit of a squeeze for you, but you should be able to manage.
Okay, so I take him, put him on my back, and I hold on to his arms, his hands and his
Okay.
arms, which are wrapped around my neck, and I go, okay, here we go.
Okay, so you
Tiny
head
thoughts.
up the staircase. Basically, the innkeeper is leading the way, followed by Lucian and Serafina, and then the Goliath in the back carrying this man. Right? As you head up the stairs, you know what? Skibion, make
knew it.
a dexterity
it.
saving throw.
Oh, God.
I knew you were gonna do that to me.
Oh
Yeah.
God!
Just put a little bit of that DM magic in there, you know, a little bit of that
Yeah.
DM
Yeah.
cruelty. Why not?
It's gonna
Where am
fall
I
on
at
this
for
guy.
these?
Spice
flatten
things
him,
up
he's
a
gonna
little
be
bit.
Dead.
Where's my dexterity? There it is. Ability check. Normal. Oof. I rolled a.
As you're heading up, you step onto
rolled an
a
eight.
particularly rickety step, and your
six.
foot just goes
Six.
right through it, and you get stuck with your foot like crammed through a wooden step. There's a loud cracking sound.
Tina's gonna whip her head
Ski-
around. She's like, "Skibion, are you okay?"
I'm fine. I'm totally fine. But this poor innkeeper's steps are not.
So he did not hear that.
He definitely heard that.
Well, and I can no longer follow, and I feel like I shouldn't follow. So
He turns and he
I
looks
just-
at you and he
yeah.
says, "You are turning out to be quite the inconvenience, Mr. Goliath."
terribly sorry. I was just trying to help.
It's okay. We'll cover the damages. Don't worry.
How much for the damaged staircase?
It's gonna cost me for at least 5 silver to get that repaired.
All right. No worries. So I put the passed out
It's just-
gentleman on the stairs, but on top so that they can reach him. Once again, pull out my bag, deliberately count 1. That's 2. The gold and silver. 2.
He's literally he's rubbing his
Yeah.
forehead. He's like, "Oh."
Yeah. 5.
So
There
Lucian
you
and
go.
Serafina, do you take hold of the guy and take him up the rest of
Yeah.
the way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah, so you
carry
take him up to the rooms, and the rooms that you find, like I said, they're not luxurious, they're fairly plain, but they are clean. Like, they each have a single bed, sort of washed but slightly threadbare, like linens, bed sheets, and so on. And there's like a table and chair and a candle in each of the rooms.
Before they continue on with their conversation, Ski clambers out of the broken staircase and goes back to join the Dragonborn and says, I didn't make it.
So I heard.
Yes, suppose it made quite the sound.
There is still a second floor, isn't
Oh, yes. No. I only slightly damaged the stairs.
Likely.
Yeah, that's all. Just adding a bit of flavor.
Okay. Right, okay, so with Lucian and Serafina heading up the stairs, and Skibion and Asher now back in the common room, kind of probably waiting basically for the innkeep to prepare your lodgings in the, I say barn, like kind of stable kind of thing. I would say that a couple of hours pass with Lucian and Zerafina kind of in their rooms, maybe in the same room together, waiting for this guy to wake up. In the meantime, the innkeep, like basically he goes into the stable and he moves a few like hay bales and things around to make like a large bed for the Goliath to sleep on. Asher, would you would have like a bedroll or something? Like, would you like lay that down? I think obviously the Goliath would have a appropriately sized bedroll as well. But go ahead, Julian.
What I would do is I would clear away the hay from a patch of ground, and then sit in the lotus position. Maybe light a few candles around myself. I'll meditate for a bit.
While the innkeeper was getting the barn ready for me, I went outside, chopped down a few trees, and cut the trunks appropriately.
You
to
chop
replace the
down a
steps.
few trees?
Yeah, why not? Can I?
You just
You
go
can
out and chop
unroot
down
them
some
as
trees?
well if you wanted to.
Yes, so because I felt really bad about the stairs, so what I did was I chopped down the trees and I sized the trunks to match the stairs that I smushed.
So you're basically going to try to repair the stairs?
Not like temporarily replace so that they can at least walk through the stairs.
Do you have an axe?
I have a great axe.
So you're going to basically try and chop down a tree with your great axe?
Well, yeah.
Okay, interesting. You know, for this, like, I'm not just going to let that sort of be a thing that you can just do. I will make you roll an athletics check to see how well you are able to chop down a tree.
I rolled a 10.
You chop down a tree of around the kind of appropriate size, and it sort of comes splintering down onto like the brushland. You just leave a horrible tree stump outside the inn. He's just making everything worse, basically.
Yeah, God,
But he's
Yeah.
trying to be helpful, okay?
This doesn't happen, but I did briefly just consider like the innkeeper running outside and being like, "My grandfather planted that tree."
Oh Jesus!
Tree falls through the barn.
Through the keep, through the fucking inn.
Smashes the whole common room down. No. Yeah, that doesn't happen. But you chop down a
thankfully.
tree and you sort of carry a log back. Like, what do you do? Just lay outside the front door?
Well, I wanted to chop it down to size so that it fits the height of the steps that I crushed. I guess I would start chopping at it like it was firewood.
Okay, so you're literally going to chop it into sort of different step-sized lengths.
Exactly. Yeah, so
Okay.
like if it was like let's say a 15-foot tall tree, but I need like a 7-foot and a 5-foot segment, then I would should try to aim it and then chop it down that way. But again, hacking at it like it was firewood.
Okay. Well, that is not going to be... I think with a 10, like, you're not really... Like, that's not very good, to be honest. But it's kind of like, it's okay. So I think that you would probably be able to, chop them relatively the right size, but not very cleanly chopped. So kind of like a little bit splintered and stuff.
Fair enough.
Oh, you're well-meaning. You're well-meaning.
Yeah, of course. So I managed to chop up like a bigger piece, and I take it in, and I'm like, well, it doesn't look the best, but at least it'll replace the step I broke. And I come in and I put it down, and I'm like, there you go. And I go back outside, take the smaller piece, go back to the stairs, and put it in front to replace the second step. There you go. That should do her.
This is where you are, by the way, on the map.
What's that? I went there to chop down a
That
tree.
little.
No. This is where you are on the map. This little mark is the inn.
Oh, I see.
That's
I see.
the inn. My
Okay.
God, it is really tiny. It was so blurry on this map.
I know, the map's
Looks like
big.
a smudge.
The map is big.
Like a little smudge.
A little.
Okay, so while Skibion is doing all of that, and Asher is meditating in the stable with a few candles, Asher, what are you thinking? What are you meditating on?
Asher is thinking about the beast that have attacked this poor man that's stumbled into the inn, and he's thinking he is loath to kill anything,
Okay.
but these are beasts, so it might not bring out the anger too much.
All right. If you're thinking about them carefully, like in detail, why don't you roll a nature check so that I can maybe give you some information?
All right. Nature, where are we? Good old -1.
Brilliant.
Oh,
Okay.
That's a
13.
bad roll.
Okay, yeah, I think while you're thinking about this, with the 13, you would probably, you would know that it's pretty rare for wolves to attack humans on the roads. That's all I'm going to give you.
Okay.
Okay, back inside the inn, a couple of hours pass as this is all going on, and the man awakens, and he sort of he's lying on his back, and he sort of groggily opens his eyes, and he's breathing more steadily now after having been healed by Zerafina. I would imagine he's probably in Zerafina's room, lying on his back, because you're kind of the healer,
Yeah. Place him on the bed and clean him up a bit,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
make him comfortable.
Yeah, and he kind of opens his eyes and he says, Greythorn, Greythorn, Greythorn. And he looks at you, Zerafina, he says, and he sort of starts and he kind of wakes a bit more and he's like, who are you? Did you get my letter?
I did get your letter. I'm Zerafina. I'm here taking care of you. We will go to Greythorn. Don't worry. We will help them. Are you from there yourself?
I am. I'm a man of Greythorn. I'm a woodsman.
What's your name?
My name is Arid.
It's nice to meet you, Arid. Don't worry. We'll help you.
I came here as fast as I could. I rode like the wind, I did.
And wolves attacked you on the way?
Yes, there's something wrong. Something wrong with the wildlife up near Greythorn. Wolf attacks like this never happen. But they went at me like they were feral, rabid.
I'm glad you're able to make it out, though.
It was a close one. I fear I was extremely lucky to run into you. I don't think I would have survived otherwise.
I'm sure Alarian brought you to me so I could heal you.
He kind of his eyes flit up towards your holy symbol on your circlet, and he looks back at you and he says, "Thank Hilarion.
You just need to get some rest now.
You must go to Greythorn as soon as possible. The whole village is choked. Got nothing to eat, nothing to drink, nothing clean anyway. And people are getting sick.
No, we
They
should
need
probably
help.
try to bring some food and water then, as much as we can carry.
If you could, anything you can do. I don't think just you can feed a whole village.
That is true. Would you like us to escort you back when we get back there, or would you like to stay here?
He looks at you and he shakes his head and he says, "Ugh,
I'm no fighter, and I'm sure you'll meet trouble along the way. I'd only get in your way if you're trying to protect me. I will stay here and rest for a few days, and I'll see if I can find someone else to escort me up there."
Okay. Do you have any gold on you to
try to
get yourself-
extort him."
No, to take care of himself,
Some
While you're
money,
here for a
pal?
few days, you have gold
listen,
to take care of
we're
yourself.
going up there. We're doing you a big favor.
I have enough for a few days lodging. The village elder gave me some coin.
Okay, just in case though, I'll give you a gold piece myself as well, just to make sure you're well
Please,
taken care of.
You're already doing so much.
No, don't worry about it. It's okay.
But he takes he takes it.
yeah, he takes it.
You're already
Snatch
doing
it.
so much.
Snatch.
Bites on it. It's real.
Thank God.
Oh god.
And she's gonna say, "Would you like to keep this room for yourself? I can leave you be at peace."
He nods gratefully. He says,
Thank you. Thanks for everything.
kind of lays his head back.
And then she's gonna say, "Yes, just rest. You're welcome. Don't worry. Alarian will guide us to Greythorn, as Alarian has guided you to me."
He nods. He says again. He just repeats,
Thank Hilarion. Thank the moonlit path.
clearly seems familiar to an extent with your god.
I think she would just
Ski-
nod in I don't know, camaraderie. That's probably not the right word, but
I can send you to your god.
I bet she's
Ski-
probably gonna go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say because I in an interrupting fashion, Ski just put down the last log to replace the stairs, and he yells up in a big booming voice, probably waking up everyone because it's late at night. Is he awake yet?
With that, I think Serafina's gonna quietly go out the door, gently close the door, and quickly but quietly head down the stairs towards Keybjorn and wake.
Were you keeping an eye on where you were stepping as you were heading down those stairs?
Yeah, she's very mindful. for
Okay,
movement.
all right, I'll let you off. You managed to
Dang
avoid
it.
the broken step.
Okay. She moves very gracefully, I would say. But yeah, so she's gonna go down and say, yes, he woke up. He's just very concerned about his village.
Oh, that's good. And as I would be as well. My village was on fire, yes. I'd
The
be
innkeeper
concerned too.
pops his head out
Mhm.
from the back and he says,
Could you keep it down? You're about to wake all the
Oh.
guests.
and you can see
Oh,
in the
dang
common
it.
room as well that the three merchants are now gone, and so is that kind of rugged-looking woodsman, the taller man with the muddy boots. He's also gone. Only like remaining in the common room is that dwarf sitting in the corner.
Someone left in the... Terribly sorry. Sometimes I forget the level of my own voice.
It's okay. Maybe we should head to the barn to speak more without worrying about waking the guests.
Yes, that sounds like a great idea.
Yes, that sounds like a great idea.
That's right. Oh my god, yes,
God
that's
damn it.
brilliant.
Oh.
Okay, the two of you head to the barn where Asher is sitting in quiet meditation. Lucian, let's move on to you since we haven't really covered what you've been doing this whole time. You were in a separate room.
He is just gonna, Lucian is, the others don't know this yet, but Lucian is half elf drow, so he doesn't really, like sleep. He also just like goes into a meditative state. But he's gonna like get up, he's gonna put up his, he's gonna like put up his rough sack and his loot. And he's gonna, I would say, mindlessly walk down the stairs. Absent-mindedly walk down the stairs, thinking about what's for breakfast.
Well, it's not morning yet.
Oh, it's not morning yet. I thought we stayed the night.
No.
It's only been
It's
a
been
few
a
hours.
couple of
Oh.
hours since, because they were
Yeah.
waiting for the guy to wake up.
Fine. Absent-mindedly walk down the stairs with a rumbly in his tummy.
He's looking for a nightcap. He wants like some eggnog or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or perhaps another bottle of that mead you were given earlier.
Mm. Okay, well, fine. Since you've volunteered, roll a dex saving throw.
No.
Oh god, why do I do this to myself?
Why do I do
There we go. Oh, it's a 22.
You do a backflip
Ooh.
over. No, I'm just kidding.
Like, whoopsie! Backflip.
You like almost step onto the step, but then at the last minute, you kind of like twist your leg away from the broken step, and you manage to just very lightly hop over that broken step and down the rest of the stairs.
He's like, oh, fuck, and then just steps aside. Yeah,
Incredible,
He just
okay.
steps aside and he makes his way down. Yeah,
You head back
just makes
down
it
into the common room. You can see that the innkeeper is kind of closing up shop for the night. He's kind of like putting away your various cups and bottles that you'd been, and buckets that you'd been eating and drinking from. And he's
Do
kind
I
of
see
just
the
like
others?
fixing up stuff. All you see at first glance, you see that dwarf sitting in the corner, and the rest of the room is empty. It seems like they are not in the common room at the moment.
Okay. Well, Lucian's just gonna be like, innkeeper, which way to the barn? I'm just looking for my friend.
Just head outside and turn left.
Oh, thank you. And he's just gonna make his way out.
Right, you head outside. At this point, you can see kind of the stars up above, only broken by the occasional patch of cloud in the sky. And as you head outside, you head around to the left, where there's kind of it's not really like a huge barn. It's more like one of those like stables where like it doesn't have like a door. It's like open on one side, but it's a big kind of wooden structure where like it's a multi-purpose kind of wooden structure where there's hay kept in there. That's also where horses would be stabled, and in fact there is a horse there right now. It's kind of like a dark brown horse, and it's also streaked with that kind of grayish dull white powder that spilled from the courier's cloak as he'd collapsed on the floor. You head into this structure and you can see there that Asher is sitting with some candles lit around him, and he's like got his eyes closed, cross-legged on the floor, and he seems to be meditating. And Skibjorn and Zerafina have just turned up just before you arrived.
Yeah, I'm just gonna make my way to the other two because he doesn't want to
Okay.
disturb the Dragonborn's meditation. Just gonna stand idly, just looking at them. Like, what's the plan, guys?
So the man woke up. His name's Arid, and he came from the village of Greythorn to try to get some help. Apparently, it's absolute chaos there, and the wolves have become feral. They don't normally attack, but they attacked him on his way to get help. But he said he will stay here for a few days, taking care of himself, and we can go without him to help the people of Greythorn.
Feral wolves. I don't really care for having my ass mauled, but I mean, I suppose we can help.
We have to help them. They need our help. Alarian brought him to us so that we could go help this village.
I mean, we could help them. We don't have to help them, but we can. We can.
I think Zerafina is right. These people need help, and we are able. We should help them.
They also
I mean,
don't have
she
much.
is to your right. That doesn't mean she is right. But I concur. We should help them. We should help the people.
They
That is
also don't
beside
have
the point. Oh,
much-
wait, she's beside me. Oh, wait. Now I'm confused. Oh,
This is your right.
Lucian.
Ski. This is your right.
Right. Wait. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Right. Yes. Okay. Good.
But yes, I concur. We should help them. There might be, some gold in it for us as well. Who knows?
This is not for gold. This is to help people. They deserve help, just as any one of us would in our times of need.
Well, I mean, I'll take your cat then if you don't want it.
She's
You're
just gonna.
a strange individual, Lucian. Strange.
I mean, we all need money to survive. Is it not true?
Where I come from.
Did you
money's
not earn
really a
enough during
thing.
that game you played?
I mean, it's never enough.
She's
I just don't understand.
she's just gonna just be like, and then she's gonna be like. Anyways, they need food and water as well. They're starving. They're hungry. We need to figure out a way to get them some food and water.
Yes, we need to make sure we bring them lots of good victuals.
Oh my god, they got a lot of problems up there. And rabid wolves and now food and water. What's next?
Well, we should
I'll
make
open
sure
my
there
eyes.
isn't anywhere.
And I'll pipe up and say, bringing them food might be a bad idea.
Why is that?
Exactly, Asher. Exactly.
If you have a pack of rabid wolves,
Ooh.
they might
Right.
see us as bait
Oh, what?
Scaly friend has a point.
or a target
Maybe
at the
we
very
can-
least.
Maybe
What's
we
a
can
few?
find a way.
What's a few puppies?
Maybe we can find a way to arrange some food to be delivered after a few days
We could do
when
that.
we've.
We'll have to scout out the situation first when we get there. It seems like there is a lot going on in this small little town. But maybe we can all profit from a good night's sleep first before we set off. Again, we don't want to travel at night with rabid wolves.
Interesting choice of words. Profit.
I didn't think about that. Yeah, sometimes I just have a way with words,
You certainly are very. What is the word I'm looking for? Sorry, I don't have a big
Charismatic.
vocabulary.
Charismatic.
That sounds good. Yes. Perfect.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I got you, Ski. I got you.
Anything else you would like to say to each other?
Zephyr just say, I don't need to sleep. I'll just meditate throughout the night. And she's gonna look for a spot. Is there any openings in the roof of the barn or anything?
Are you all staying in the barn?
Oh God, no! I'm going back up.
Well,
I paid for it. Well, I didn't pay for it. Dragonborn paid for it, but I'm gonna sleep in it.
And I left Arid in my room, so I'm not gonna disturb him. I'll meditate in the barn.
Oh, what was your question, Suji?
If there was a opening or anything in the roof of the
Like
barn.
or something.
Like I said, it is open on one side, it's sheltered in here, but there isn't a door. It's kind of open on one side so you can see out over the moors from where you are. But there is a roof, so you can't see up to the sky.
Okay, so no holes in the roof. Okay,
No.
yeah, so she'll probably look for a spot to sit kind of in in or near the doorway so she could still look up at the stars while she's meditating.
Okay. Yeah, so you kind of sit yourself down and start to sort of you enter your elven kind of trance, right? And you start to
Yeah.
meditate upon your god as you kind of look up at the stars, the symbol of Ilarion. Okay, all right. So the rest of you see Zerafina enter this state of meditation. Asher, you have exited your state of meditation, and what do you want to do?
I think seeing that everybody's settling down, Asher's going to remain in the lotus position, blow out the candles, pretend to meditate, but actually just go to sleep.
Okay, all right, okay. So you're going to sleep in a meditative position. You're just pretending to meditate.
Absolutely.
Fair enough. Okay, so what about you, Skibion?
Ski just sees Zerafina and Asher just take their respective places around the barn, and He looks over at his at his giant pile of hay and just goes, "Oh, this is going to be a good night." Crashes.
Like there's just that massive slam crash as he just falls
Yep,
back
yeah.
onto the hay, and the entire structure just like rattles and like there's bits of dust
It
falling
lifts
down.
up for a second and then
Just
settles back down.
It moves 3 inches to the left.
God.
The horse like just startles.
That's right. There's a horse. I forgot. But I guess
No.
Ski was tired enough to just not realize anyone else but his new friends basically, and just crashes onto the hay.
Okay, and finally, Lucian, what do you want to do before we pass
I
the
think
night?
with that crash, Lucian's gonna be like, God, okay, that was quite a rumble. I'm heading back up to my room. Pleasant dreams to everybody down here. Or meditation, whatever it is you do. And
They're all already asleep.
to his room. And he's gonna, because he doesn't sleep himself really, he also goes into like a little meditative state. He's gonna just perch himself up on a chair with a footstool, and he's just gonna sit and pluck at his lute until he like drifts off in his meditation.
Okay, so you're in your room.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay then, the night passes uneventfully.
Long rest.
You get a
That's a
long
long
rest
rest.
if you, since I mean actually it is kind of, you haven't really done anything apart from Serafina has used cure
Yeah.
wounds, I believe, so you get your spell slot
Yeah.
back from that.
Yeah.
Where is
Yeah.
long resting?
So you stay the night,
Okay.
and in the morning, I believe you will. You can let me know if there's anything you would like to do in the morning before you set off. But I assume you're all going to be setting off north down the trail towards Greythorn. But before I kind of narrate that, is there anything you'd like to do in the morning before you set off?
I think Lucian will get everybody some breakfast rations. Just a
Buying them
little
from the inn?
Yeah. And then another bottle of that mead.
Okay. I think he would charge you 4 silver for the breakfast.
Lucian is gonna give him 6 silver as a tip. Just be like, apologies for the inconvenience last night as well, Innkeep. And thank you for your hospitality. It is much appreciated.
The innkeeper like scratches his beard and he's like,
Well, I suppose you've got the best interests. You've got good intentions. Oh, you can't say I've ever really had to put up such an interesting and diverse set of interesting characters in the inn before, but stranger things have happened.
There's a first time for everything, Innkeep. We might be passing through here soon again.
Well, at least you're generous. And he takes the 6 silver. And
He's
he
just gonna wave him off and
he
gonna head
does
off
up
to the barn.
like 4 bowls of like kind of a lumpy oaty porridge for your breakfast.
Okay.
Oh,
he's
3
gonna,
bowls in a
like-
bucket.
3 bowls in a bucket. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Ooh, I'm gonna be carrying it by myself, aren't I?
Yeah, good point. Yeah, thanks for pointing that out, actually. Let's make
Air bucket.
You're determined to have the Charlie Chaplin moment, aren't you?
the thing is like, I was just going to let you do that, you know. I could probably
Yeah.
carry 4 bowls if I tried, you know, so I was going to let you just do
Yeah,
it. But
like, you know.
since you're clearly volunteering, why don't we make you roll let's call it a sleight of hand check.
A sleight of hand check.
That's right.
Oh, that is a 10.
Okay. All right. A 10 passes, I think. We'll call this a
Okay.
normal difficulty class check. I think a 10
Yeah.
passes. Yeah, you kind of, what you do probably is you like carry the bucket under one arm, like
Yeah,
under one
like-
arm with a bowl in that hand as well, and then the other hand you've got
Yeah.
like 2 bowls resting on your
2
arm.
bowls. I'm like,
And you're just like walking along with your porridge, and you head into the barn. The rest of you, you know, you've woken up or you're waking up. And what is there anything the rest of you would like to do before Lucian arrives, or as he arrives? You can let me know.
Ski is still sleeping.
Does he snore?
Let's say, you know what? Yes, of course.
oh
Of
my
course.
god, it sounds like a bay.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
no.
exactly what. Yeah.
I think Serafina's gonna be waking up as Lucine arrives, and obviously she's gonna be the first one to see him because she's right at the doorway. She's gonna look up at him, and she's probably just gonna say, "Oh, you brought breakfast?
I'm like, yeah, breakfast. And I'm gonna hand one of the bowls.
Thank you." And she's gonna take the bowl.
You're most welcome.
If Ski's snoring, I don't think Asher would have slept all that long. So he's going to be. I assume that the barn that we're in, our stable, it has rafters.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to be doing some hanging sit-ups in the rafters.
You're doing hanging sit-ups
God.
in the rafters. You're like, okay.
Oh, God.
Athletics, please.
God. Oh,
Nice.
Yeah. With a
Goddamn.
17, you are just you like sort of you put your arms up and you haul yourself up into the rafters and then swing your legs over the bar and like lean down, and you're like, as Lucian enters and Zerafina like takes the porridge with Skibiorn just snoring on the bed of hay, just this massive man snoring with his chest rising and falling. Asher, you're just like you're just like doing these just perfect rhythm like hanging sit-ups, and you're just like pulling yourself all the way up back down.
As you enter with the porridge, you see a pair of clawed hands come down to take the bowl.
you're like, oh gods, would you, our little dragonborn friend? I don't think we even met. I'm Lucian, by the way.
Asher,
Pleasant to meet you. Here you go, Asher.
that bowl's being hoisted up into the rafters. I'm going to sit cross-legged and eat porridge.
Okay, like he leans down, takes the bowl, crunches, drinks it all, leans back, and just hands the empty bowl back.
Oh, yeah, that's better. We'll go with that.
Oh, well, let's put this on the floor for you. I'm gonna make my way to Ski.
Just dump the
Dumps
bucket of porridge on his head.
Yeah. Yeah, same Rachel.
I'm gonna lightly bump him with the bucket, like on his shoulder while he's snoring. Ski, breakfast.
Nothing happens.
Ski through the haze of sleep, like you're dreaming, and like
Yeah.
just let's say something porridge related just happens in your dream as the
Yes.
smell comes up.
I'm probably swimming through porridge.
You're,
in
yeah,
my-
like you're swimming in like an alpine lake, and then it
Yeah.
turns into porridge around you.
Also, I should have made it clear that I do have my kit on. Like I've got I'm ready to travel. You know, this is like a.
You've got your gear
A
and your pack
breakfast.
and your cloak and everything.
I've got my stuff.
Mm.
Yeah, I got my stuff. I'm like, Ski.
It sure is convenient when all three of you, all you have to do is meditate.
Doesn't the Dragonborn have to sleep?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that's why he was pretending to meditate, but he was actually sleeping.
Yeah,
Yeah.
asleep.
Gotcha.
Oh, but I guess
Okay.
Skibion maybe thinks that he was just meditating.
You know what? Let's go. Let's
Okay.
go with that. I like that because, like, oh, if he's meditating too, then that must mean that he must only need to meditate just like the others. Wow, this is okay.
Okay.
So does
a lot.
Ski react to me bumping him with the bucket?
No, still sleeping.
Okay, well, with that, Lucian is just gonna be like. He puts the bucket next to him. He reaches into his pack. He pulls out his bagpipe.
You wait, you've got
And
bagpipes?
I got
I
bagpipes
did
as
not
well.
remember that.
I got a lute, a viol, and bagpipes, and he's gonna like blow them up. He's gonna like, and then he's gonna just like, on the bagpipes right next to Skibion's head.
Now, is that louder than my snoring?
Yeah, I would say that's going to be louder. Like they're
Yeah.
bagpipes. So we're just going to straight up say that those are louder than your snoring. Like you're big, your snoring is loud, but it isn't bagpipes loud.
Let's say I jolt awake with my arms up like this, and I feel like that would mean that I almost swing at Lucian accidentally.
Okay, dex saving throw to stop whatever happens from happening.
From me or from Lucian?
Let's
I
say
would-
let's do it as a combined check. You both roll a dex saving
Okay.
throw,
Okay.
but the DC will be higher as I'll be combining your
Oh.
rolls. Oh god.
Ooh,
Oh,
oh
oh no!
no.
Okay,
Not one and then
that's not
Oh.
good. That's not good.
Did it roll for me? It did. Okay.
Yeah, you
Okay.
yeah.
So I jolt awake with my arms up. So basically, he was probably like near my armpit kind of area because I had my arms spread out, and I jolted awake with my arms up.
And Lucian rolls a nat one. So yeah, you like swing your arm, and Lucian, you try to move the bucket of porridge out of the way, but you accidentally actually move it into his swinging arm, and he just smacks the bucket of porridge really hard. It goes flying up into the air,
Oh, no!
and it comes down on top of your head.
Who said it's mine or his?
You rolled the nat one, my
Oh.
guy. You're getting the porridge on your head.
And I
It's the
Standing there
horse
with porridge
feather just
dripping
roll.
down me.
I'm sitting up going. "Oh, I smell porridge.
To answer your question, Drimian, the horse is tied to like a post.
Okay, so it's not going to just like lick the oats of it.
Lick Lucian clean.
I think he's
Yeah.
like the horse is eyeing Lucian with interest, but he's a bit too far away.
Like,
So
yes,
Yeah.
I am porridge.
I am become
Lucian,
porridge.
why are you
This
wearing...
was for you.
Oh, well, yeah. You should never wake a Goliath like that. Let this be a lesson to you, my friend. And he
Try to be louder
kinda-
next time.
Luckily,
And he kinda
Lucian, you
gets-
are wearing your cloak with your hood, so it does go on the outside of your cloak. Let's just say that.
Well, he's
mostly.
gonna, in disgust, he's gonna look at Ski and he's gonna like walk. I'm assuming the horse is in the entrance of the barn, right?
Yeah.
He's gonna like walk past the horse, and then I'm gonna stop and turn around to Ski again and be like, I'm gonna have to go clean this up.
Roll an animal
Before
handling
you-
check as you step near the horse.
Oh,
God, my Jesus, man.
I love how every D&D game that I DM just turns into a
Nat
farce.
20.
hey.
Okay, and with a nat 20, the horse moves towards you as you head towards it. Like it's looking interested in those oats that are just completely covering your like cloak and like rolling down your cloak. But you sort of like you hold up, how do you want to control to stop the horse from getting you? You can describe it.
Well, I finally removed the bucket from my head because I'm assuming the bucket was still like somewhat perched up on me, and I just put it down in front of the horse.
The horse happily like just dunks its head into the bucket and licks up the remaining porridge in there.
Yeah. Well, Lucian's gonna go clean himself up quickly.
Okay. Wouldn't be too difficult. I think you would basically just, you'd probably just dunk your head into a basin of water outside.
Yeah. Just tidy
Yes.
up again.
Ski starts clamoring up and he smells the porridge. He goes, actually, porridge sounds really good. He walks over, picks up the bucket, which has now been licked clean by the horse. Is there a body of water nearby? A well, a river?
There isn't like a river close enough that you would easily be able to reach it. And there isn't, I would say, there isn't like a well. That what they
see.
have is he has like basins of water for catching rain.
Okay. Well, he'll walk over to one of the basins and just dunk the bucket in to kind of rinse it off and then walk into the tavern.
Okay. You head into the tavern and the innkeep greets you. He says, "Good morning, Master Goliath."
Morning, kind innkeeper. Could I have a bucket of porridge, please?
I thought I sent the other fellow with one.
Oh, there's been a mishap.
Another one?
Fuck, another one.
Yeah.
I suppose that would be another one.
You
yes.
haven't managed to
Sure.
knock my whole barn down with your bucket of porridge, have you?
Oh no, it's still standing as of right now. But I think maybe I should leave
Right
soon
now.
to make sure that I don't tear down any buildings.
That might be for the best. Well, another bucket of porridge will cost you. How much was it? How much was the porridge? Silver. 1 silver. Cost you a silver
One
piece.
soul, yeah.
Oh, one. That's easy. Just take. You have to go. One. Here you go.
Okay, he grabs the bucket and he just like ladles porridge into the bucket, gives it to you.
It smelled delicious. On Lucian, I can only imagine how good it'll taste in my mouth.
Well, I do have fine porridge, if I might say so myself.
He starts ladling and he's like, "Oh, this is good," and then he just skips the ladle, just starts chugging it.
You got porridge like running down your chin.
Yeah, wipes
Okay.
his cheeks.
Anyone
Marvelous.
else want to do anything
Marvelous.
before you head off?
Yeah, so Zeraphine, during that whole interaction with the bucket of porridge, she's gonna have been finishing her porridge and just looking on at them at the whole display like,
She's just like
And then-
watching, slowly eating her porridge.
yeah, just like popcorn eating,
Yeah,
God damn
Yeah,
it.
and then, but yeah, she's gonna shake that and she's gonna get up and go up to the room where Arid is staying to go check in on him.
Okay. Yeah, you see Arid lying there on the bed. He seems to be, he is awake when you like knock and he answers the door. Like he stands, gets up from the bed and he answers the door and he says to you,
Miss Seraphine, I feel much better today. Thank you.
I'm glad you're feeling much better. I did want to ask you though, was there any other like tips on our voyage to Greythorn? Any other information that may prove useful for us?
Just keep your eyes out, and the wolves. Just watch out for the wolves. There's something not quite right with them. They're like I said, they're almost rabid, wild. They just attack without any care or caution. Just watch out for the wildlife. I don't know what else could have happened or what other beasts might have been affected, but just be careful. The ash there's something wrong with the ash. I don't know what it is, but people got sick when they spent too much time out in the ash. Further you get toward Greythorn, the thicker it'll get. It dulls the senses. It makes all the sounds dull, muted. It's hard to explain. You'll feel it for yourself.
When did the ash start to fall?
It was a couple of weeks ago now. Started soft, like chimney soot on the wind. Started with a couple of miners working out near the ridge. And they'd come in red-eyed, sluggish, like they hadn't slept in days. And the ash started falling shortly after that, just a few flecks at first, drifting along the fence posts. And then it got worse. Now the whole village is choked in the stuff.
Is the ash coming from the mines? Do you know where it's coming from?
I don't know.
It's quite...
Must be the mountain.
Is there... What's up on the mountain?
Mount Veilgrim is... Well, it's kind of the lifeblood of the village, really. That's where the miners go to mine up the silver that we have sold to High March and to the towns and cities further north. But it's a strange mountain. It's grey, dark, not like the surrounding range. Elders tell stories of their own elders talking about danger and stories of how we must always treat the mountain with respect, and lest it take its revenge upon us. And there's all kinds of tales of children going missing, getting changed by the Fae folk, and all kinds of things to do with that mountain. It's a strange thing. Growing up there, I never really thought about it much. It was just part of the scenery. Now it just seems like something's upset it. Something wrong's happening.
Would Zerafina have read anything about any of these myths or anything like that?
No.
No, okay. That is strange. It does seem like something happened with the mountain. You said it could take revenge if it was not respected. You think maybe that has something to do with what's happening now?
That's just what folks say. I don't know. I mean, it sure seems like it might be true.
We'll try to go investigate up there. See if maybe that's the source of everything.
When you get into town, talk to the innkeeper. He's a man named Mirren.
Mirren. Okay. We'll be sure to speak with this.
He's one of the
innkeeper
elders of the
Mirren.
village, and the elders of the village can tell you anything, really.
Okay. Yeah, we'll definitely make sure to speak with him, understand what's going on more so we can help.
I appreciate that. And if you wouldn't mind checking in with my wife and son, I'd really appreciate it.
How would we find them?
Just ask for Elia and my son. My wife Elia and my son. My wife Elia and my son Tommen.
Ilya and Tommen. Yes, we'll make sure to check in on them, make sure they're okay. Don't you worry. We'll
Thank you
probably
kindly.
be heading out soon.
Appreciate it.
I think with that, yeah, Zerafina's gonna just, say goodbye and head back down to the
Okay.
others.
All right. So you all garb yourself for the road. You put your traveling clothes and cloaks on, and you pack up your things, whatever you had taken out. You shoulder your packs, and as the sun begins to rise, as morning presses on, you begin to head off down the northern road toward Greythorn. You leave the Crossroads Rest down the north road. A light wind brushes at your cloaks as the inn's warmth fades behind you into memory. The packed earth path is thinner and more worn than the Queen's Road that you've just left. Cart trail at best. It winds between low hills of brittle grass, rutted in places and broken by knots of stubborn grass. Low stone walls crumble along parts of the route, suggesting that this trail was once more regularly used. You can see the silhouette of the mountains looming in the distance, far away, and one of them in particular stands out, a mountain of dark grey stone that sort of, you can just see it through the haze ahead, and that's, well, you can see it on the map. That's this mountain. And that is actually where we're going to end today's session. So you begin to head off from the Crossroads Rest, heading north down the trail. But it's been 3 hours, and our time with you is over. It's time to end. It actually doesn't even feel like that long passed, you know?
Yeah.
It feels shorter than it was, but 3 hours, 3 hour session. So yes, thanks very much for joining us, everyone. This has been a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Good DM.
Yeah.
Good
a lot
DM.
of fun.
It was good.
Next time, we
That's
will
what
pick
stuff.
up with the characters heading north to Greythorn and arriving at Greythorn. We'll see what happens along the way. Until then, that's going to be it from us. Thanks for joining me, guys.
Thanks for
Thanks
having
for having us.
Thank
A lot
you.
of fun.
See you later.
We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
me. Bye-bye.
Bye.